Welcome to Unleash Your Audacious Confidence on Win-Win-Win TV. This show is all about sharing the tips, tools, and techniques that will allow you to step boldly in the direction of your dreams despite your feelings, fears, or past failures. To imagine what's possible for yourself and live the life you deserve.
Well, hello. Welcome to Unleash Your Audacious Confidence here on Win Women TV. I'm your host, Alicia Curry. I'm super excited to be here with you. We're talking about one of my favorite topics, of course, on confidence, but it's all about breaking free and breaking through. Yes, we're going to be breaking through some stuff today. And I want to first, of course, always encourage you to go to the Win Women store and check it out, winwinwomen.tv.com. Go to winwinwomen.com, check out our store. We've got a lot of goodies there for you that you can check out. But and then make sure you follow me. Go ahead and connect with me on social media. You can go to alicia360.com, alicia360.com to connect, and let's start a conversation. If there's anything on any of these shows that have inspired you, you have questions around, or you want to go deeper or know more, please reach out to me. You even on that site, you can WhatsApp me, you can send me a message, and I will respond to you if you tell me that you saw me on winwinwomen.tv on the show. Just if you saw me on Win Women, or you watched my show, Unleash Your Audacious Confidence. If that's too much, just say you saw me on Win Women, and I will respond to you. So, and then you can connect with me on all social media platforms as well. So today's topic is, got a little sick. Today's topic, we're talking about comfort zones. And comfort zones go hand in hand with limiting beliefs. So if you are in your comfort zone, chances are you have limiting beliefs, and the power triplet with that is blind spots. So you're in your comfort zone, you got limiting beliefs, and you got blind spots. Now, in the natural, nothing is wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with it if that's how you want to be, if that's how you want to live. You're fine with your blind spots. You're absolutely comfortable in your comfort zone. There's no need to do anything more. That's fine. Nobody's judging. I'm certainly not judging you. It's when you're trying to move forward, when you're trying to do something big, or you're trying to step out and do something outside your normal, ordinary life, and you want to up-level yourself, and you want that courage and that confidence to do it, that's when your comfort zone becomes a problem, because your subconscious mind will continue to try to pull you back and drag you back into that comfort zone. Because what is that comfort zone? It's safety. Well, it's the perception of safety. It's perceived safety. It's not real safety. It's perceived. Your mind is trying to make you feel like you're comfortable still. So it's that perceived safety zone that you're going into. And so anytime you try to break out, all kinds of chaos happens around you to try to get you back into that zone of comfort, right? So things start happening, like you want to start a new business, and you're working a full-time job, but you really want to leave your job and start your business. What starts happening? Appliances start breaking down. Well, I can't leave my job now. Kid gets sick. I can't leave my job now. I need my medical insurance. I need to be able to pay for the new washer dryer. I need this. The car breaks down, the battery. I need stuff. So stuff starts happening around you because you start creating this chaos around you to stay in that comfort zone, because it's scary to step out of it. So you start generating this energy around you that creates stuff happening, right? So when you find that you're trying to do something and stuff starts happening around you, the first thing I want you to remember is to become aware. I talk about awareness all the time on this show. Awareness is your number one tool. It's your number one advantage to break free of anything that you're in. You have to become aware. You have to not put on your blinders and say, oh, the washer broke down again. Oh, the car broke down again. Oh, why does this keep happening? If these are words that come out of your mouth, stop yourself and think about what happened before. What was the thing that happened before this happened? What was the decision I made or that I tried to make just preceding this? Whether it's a day before, a few hours before, what happened that caused this situation? It's not always, but chances are, if it's happening over and over again, then it is always, if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense to you, because if something happens out of the blue, that's one thing. But if you say, why does this always keep happening? Then you have to stop yourself and examine, why does this always keep happening? Don't allow it to keep happening. You have to examine that. All right. So last week we talked about self-doubt. On the last episode, we talked about self-doubt. And this is the part of when you're breaking out of your comfort zone. A lot of times you have self-doubt. And that's why you stay in your comfort zone. That's why you stay safe. That's why you stay in the area that you're in, because you don't want those self-doubts, those negative thoughts to actually manifest. So they all really, all those self-doubts and stuff really feed off of your limiting beliefs. So what is a limiting belief? It's any belief that you have, that you've developed in your subconscious mind that restricts and limits you. That's the easy explanation. Anything that restricts or limits you, hence the comfort zone, right? Because it's restricting and it's limiting you to what you can see, to your five senses, basically. You see, touch, taste, smell, experience. It's limiting to your experiences, right? What you can hold on to. The danger of that is that our mind literally blocks everything else out. So if there's an opportunity you're looking for, if there's a way to grow, a way to increase yourself, even increase your salary at work, your mind is not going to see it. The opportunity is just going to be invisible to you because of that blind spot. We literally have like physically blind spots. Like if you put your hand and you go like this, and as soon as, you can see it, and then there's a place where it stops. That's your blind spot. That's where you can't see it anymore. And so your vision is impaired to what you can see here. But there's a whole lot of stuff happening here, isn't there? There's stuff right here. It's in my presence. It's right here next to me. I just can't see it because it's in my blind spot. Now, if I turn my head a little bit, I can see it in my periphery. So let's look at that limiting belief and that comfort zone. If you can expand it just a little bit by turning my head, I'm expanding my range of view, and I can see it a little bit. You might be able to see a little bit of opportunity just by turning a little bit, expanding that circle of your comfort zone a little bit. You start to see a little bit more opportunity. But the challenge is you still have blind spots. You still have blind spots. So when you're looking at expanding, breaking free of your comfort zone, the only way to really do it is to start eliminating some of those blind spots. So how do we do that? Well, one way is coaching. Another way is to ask people. You don't necessarily have to be coached, but start asking people, and don't ask people who have the same blind spots as you do. Like if someone was sitting right next to me and I asked them what's behind us and they're looking ahead, they're going to have the same blind spot I do. They're not going to see behind us. But if they're willing to turn around 360, or they've done that and they know exactly what's behind me, they can share what's behind me. They can give me a different perspective So when you're asking people, ask people who have already been through that, have gone through it, are in a place that you want to be. Ask people that are more advanced than you are in the thing that you're trying to get to help you see a bigger vision, to help you see a bigger picture, to help you expand your vision a little bit more. And then the second way, like I said, is coaching. Is you need to get someone who is actually going to talk you through some of these things, right? So those are ways that you can expand your vision at least, but that doesn't get you out of your comfort zone. Expanding your vision just allows you to see more opportunities. Then you need to take another step, right? So you could see these opportunities. Your limiting beliefs that were like this before are starting to expand a little bit. You're starting to see a little bit more. And one of the phrases I want you to really listen for, right? We're using our senses. Listen for when you say this is, I'd love to have that, or I'd love to do this, but I don't think I can. I don't think I have the money. I don't think it's possible. Like anytime there's a but in there, that's where your limiting belief lies. That's as far as you could believe. I would love to, but how about thinking what's possible? You know, I talk about that audacious confidence is stepping into what's possible. So instead of sitting in that limitation of the but, well, I'd love to do that, but what's possible? What is possible? Is it really possible for me to do this? Unless you're physically incapable of doing it. Like your DNA structure is physically incapable of transforming and change. Like I cannot in of myself change my skin tone, my gender, my height. I can change my hair color. I can change, I can change my eye color with contacts. There are certain things I can change within my physiology that's temporary. I could put on makeup, I could do certain things. But when we're talking about what is possible, it's beyond your physical limitations. That's what I'm trying to get to. So if you're saying, well, I actually just had an opportunity come my way to go speak, and I'm looking at my calendar and it's super tight. I mean, I live on the East Coast. This is all the way on the West Coast. It's only for 2 days, but the day before I have to leave, I'll be coming back in town. And then the day the event starts, I already have an event. And then the day I get back, which will be probably super early the next morning, because I have to fly the red eye from California, I'll have to fly the red eye in. I'll be getting in that morning. And then I have an event, a week-long event the day I get in. And I'm still trying to consider how I could do it, right? I'm still trying to work it out. How can I make this possible for myself to do these things? I mean, the event that I'm going to miss that Saturday, I've already RSVP'd, I've paid for my ticket and all of that. However, I have to weigh the benefit of going to speak at this other event versus attending this other event, Speaking, of course, is always going to net you more than just attending. So if it's physically, humanly possible for me to make these trips, this happen, I will make it happen. And that's where my limiting beliefs shifted so radically. Because I'm telling you, even just a year ago, maybe even less, I would have not even thought that that was possible. I'd have looked at my calendar and said, oh no, there's no way I can make that happen. But when your beliefs shift to, what is possible? What is possible? Maybe I can charter a plane, right? That's a possibility. I mean, I have until mid-June. Anything can happen between now and mid-June. So, that's where I'm growing my mind to look at things completely differently. And that's where it starts. It starts in your own mind, in your own vision, in your own imagination. Like, can you imagine it being even possible for yourself? I remember one time someone asked me to fly out to help them with actually, no, it wasn't to help them with something. It was to fly out to come hang out with them. That was that one time. And I said, my life isn't structured like that. I have children in school. I have this, I have that. I put up all the reasons why I couldn't, all the excuses why I couldn't do it, because that was my frame of reference. That was my comfort zone. That was my limiting beliefs. Well, I have to say no because family came first. That's one of my values. Family comes first. And I want you to hear me on this, because I'm not saying to discount your values. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying when you start putting that as limitations, that increases your blind spot, right? So instead of now my periphery being here, I've put blinders on. So my blind spot is even further. Like I can't see, it's even narrower, I should say. My blind spot has narrowed my field of vision even more when I stop putting these limitations. So when I said those words to her and I said, my life isn't built like that. My life isn't like that. I never stopped to ask myself, why not? Why is my life not built in a way that if an opportunity came for me to go to New York, even if it was just to hang out with a friend, if it is that I say I love travel and I love to experience new things, why did I limit myself to that? See, I could have easily said, you know what? Yeah, I will come hang out with you to this event, and have some fun and all of that, and have someone take care of picking up and dropping off and picking up my kids from school for the 2 days. If I was gone for 2 days, arrange for that to happen so that I can go and do this other thing and still be responsible, a responsible parent, making sure that my kids are taken care of and everything that they physically need is there for them. And I will go and I will be back. So it's a question of, how are you looking at your life? Are you creating these limitations for yourself? Because we create some of those limitations for ourselves, and a lot of others have been created for us, and we've just agreed to them. And so I want you to ask yourself these questions. When thinking about your comfort zone, thinking about why you're in your comfort zone, ask yourself, what am I really afraid of? What is it that I'm really afraid of? And be really truthful and honest with yourself. We did a show on the 4 agreements a little while back, so you can always go back and check the 4 agreements about integrity, being in integrity with your own word. When you're not in integrity with yourself, when you break that integrity with yourself, meaning you're lying to yourself and you're lying to yourself, you have a harder time trusting yourself, trusting your own word, and trusting others around you. So be impeccable with your word. That's the agreement. Being impeccable with your word, and really dig deep and ask yourself, what am I afraid of? What is it I'm afraid of? It's the first question. And the second question is, what failure am I avoiding and why? Why am I in this comfort zone? What failure am I avoiding and why? Because you may have a mindset that failure is bad, failure is wrong, failure is unsuccessful, and therefore that means you are all those things. Failure is just a stepping stone to greater success. So what is the failure that you're avoiding or that you're afraid of, and why? All right. So those are a couple questions. One of my coaches, my mindset mentors would always ask, what are you resisting? And I've given the story before about me entering a pageant, actually resisting the pageant for 2 or 3 years before I actually entered it, because I asked myself that question, what are you resisting? What are you resisting? That might not resonate with you, those words, what are you resisting? What are you afraid of? Might be a little bit easier for your mind to comprehend or grasp. Or what failure am I avoiding? So when you start asking yourself these questions, you really start getting real with yourself. And then trying to figure out, how do I step out of this comfort zone? Well, first you have to understand why you're even in there in the first place. So what are you avoiding? Because that is a subconscious programming that's running you. And because it's a subconscious programming that you're completely unaware of, if you don't ask yourself the question, that program is going to stay in the background. And when you step out to do something, if it goes wrong, it's going to be there as a judge saying, you see, this is why we don't do this stuff. This is why I told you. This is why we have to stay within the boundaries that we've created for ourselves. So if you don't make that conscious to yourself, if you don't actually pull that into your awareness, then you're going to continue to operate in that limitation, right? You got me? Oh, you're still with me on this one? Good. So ask yourself those questions, and then, oops, checking my notes, and then understand what the truth that's really inside of you of what it is you are going after. You know that it's not just a heart's desire. It's not just a passion for you. It's not just something that you want to do. That's your truth. That's the truth inside of you right now. And you need to have the courage to speak out the truth, say what it is that you want, because when you start speaking it, our words, the Bible says that your words, they are spirit and they are life. Your words have power. They have life. They did some experiments with water where they had different sounds, and they showed how the energy in the sound changed when they fed these sounds to water, and then they froze the water, and you saw patterns in the water. And if the music was loud and kind of what is it, confusing, like there was a lot of noise, and it was all, nothing was in harmony, then the patterns in the ice were very but when it was soothing and calm, the patterns were like rounded and flowing. And so you can see that when you have words that are in harmony with your belief system, and you speak out those words, then the laws of the universe starts conspiring to bring that to you. And when you have a double binding message, meaning you're saying one thing out of your mouth, but you're believing something, and in your subconscious mind and in your heart, you're believing something totally different, and then wondering why you're not getting results. It's because you're not in harmony. You're not in sync. There are pieces of you that are still disjointed. And so you have to come into alignment there. And that's where breaking out of your comfort zone comes in, because if your comfort zone keeps pulling you back and your desire is pushing you forward, then you have a tug of war going on, and the confused mind does nothing, and therefore you're not going to be successful. Nothing's going to happen, right? So we don't want that. We want you to unleash your audacious confidence. And in order to do that, once you've brought awareness, once you've asked yourself the questions, once you've identified the resistance, the next thing, and by the way, resistance, as you know, is the 5th step in my 7 steps to audacious confidence. It's step number 5. It's all about around resistance. So like if you build awareness around that, what you're afraid of, what failure you're avoiding, the next thing you need to do is recalibrate your goal. What is the goal? What is the desire? What is the thing that you want to go after, that you're trying to manifest? You got to recalibrate it. And one way to recalibrate it is to understand that you're going to fail, especially if you've never done this before. So as you're stepping out of your comfort zone and into something you've probably never done before, or not done at that level before, you need to start recalibrating that goal and understand that I may fall on my face on this, but it's all toward learning to do it better. As a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as someone who is in front of clients at different levels, at different times, and also doing these shows, I'm in front of camera, in front of media, in front of live audiences. It gets nerve-wracking sometimes, but I have pushed myself out of my comfort zone. Years ago, when my first coach said to me once, "You're a speaker." And I said, "No, I'm not." And she's like, "Yes, you're a speaker." And I said, "No, I'm not." And for 2 years, I fought being a speaker. I told her there's nothing, I don't have anything of value to share. I don't know anything. Oh my gosh, nobody's interested in my story. Nobody cares. I made all the excuses. But what were those excuses? My limiting beliefs. That was my comfort zone. It was like, I cannot get up on a stage in front of people. I was terrified of speaking in front of people. If a camera went on and that light turned white or red, the red dot saying that camera was on and live, I would freeze. I am dead serious. I would freeze. My heart would start pounding like so hard in my chest. I couldn't swallow. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't swallow because my mouth was dry. Like there was nothing to even swallow. Like I'm like, where's the water? My bladder suddenly felt full. It's like, I have to go to the bathroom. 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 My mouth is dry. My heart's racing. And and every thought that I had in my head just left me. Seriously, I don't know anything. I don't even know my name. That's how bad it was. I would freak out to stand in front of a crowd. And I had to give myself some pep talks just to stand in front of a classroom when I was doing my theology degree, to stand in front of the classroom and give a presentation. Same thing. My heart was pounding. I was reading, the paper was shaking, so I've been there. I know, I'm here now talking to you. It's been several years later, but I remember holding paper. Like I got a paper and I'm holding the paper. I didn't even want to hold the paper because I knew it would look like this. While I would be trembling, my knees would be shaking and the paper would make noise, right? So it's like, and my voice would get trembly. So I understand, I know, but you have to be willing to take the steps. You have to be willing to recalibrate your goal. You have to be willing to say, you know what? In pursuit of success, in the pursuit of my success, I need to step out of my comfort zone. I need to push the boundaries of where I am. I need to get over this. And so when I finally admitted to having a story to share, I was going to share that with you, but I may be out of time. I'll take a few minutes to share this with you. When I finally realized that I was a speaker, I started doing little things. At the time, I was doing professional hair and makeup, and I started teaching little classes to people, standing in front of them to teach them how to like put on their eyelashes and do some eye makeup and how to match your foundation. And so I started doing these little classes as a speaker, standing in front of a class of people, demonstrating and doing these things, got me a little bit more comfortable. But I remember the moment I knew that I was supposed to be on stage was at an event at my church. And I was listening to the speaker on stage tell her story. I was in the lobby because I was doing makeup and I was setting up to do hair and makeup, not hair and makeup, just makeup it was a teen conference for young women, teenagers. And I was setting up with my crew to do makeup for when they broke and all the girls came out and wanted to get lashes or touch up or whatever. And I was listening to that speaker on stage tell her story. And I said, that's my story. She's telling my story. I should be there. That should have been me on that stage. Not taking anything away from her. That was the moment of realization for me that I recognized the story. And I said, that's my story. Why am I denying transformation that people could have by hearing my story? Why am I denying people that opportunity to shift and change? If she could get up there and tell that story, I could get up there and tell that story. I'll tell you what I did. I heard that, and I couldn't even stand in the lobby any longer. I couldn't stand myself. And I crawled under the table that we were prepping everything on top of. It had a long tablecloth. I had my bags and everything under the table. I literally, physically crawled under the table because I didn't want anybody to see me because I was so disgusted with myself. Because I knew I have a message inside of me that needed to come out. I have a story to tell that needs to come out. And I was holding back because I was afraid, because I had these limitations. I had put these limitations on me. And I said, I need to get speaker training. I need someone to teach me how to do this. I need to figure out how to get on stage and share my message. And that was how I broke out of my comfort zone to be on camera, to be on stages, to be in front of people. I had to get so disgusted with myself. I had to hear someone tell my story and say, that's not going to happen to me again. So when you get to that level of frustration. Hopefully you don't get to what I did. But when you get to that level and you recognize you belong in your dream, you belong there. What do I need to do? What are the steps I need to take to get me from here to there? That's when you're ready to break out of your comfort zone. And that's when you're going to do the thing you need to do. So with that being said, I am going to say to you, be bold, because it takes courage. Be brave. And every day, do one thing to step out with audacious confidence. I will see you next time on another episode of Unleash Your Audacious Confidence here on Win Win Women TV. Mwah, 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 mwah. I love you all, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.